Where do people stumble when they try to make that one thing a reality?
Well, there's kind of a flow here, and this has been fun. This is in my training and consulting with people trying to live it, my employees, other businesses that we work with, right? We go through this path, and I think the first thing people have is they have a goal, but they lack clarity about exactly what it is they want. So I think the first pitfall, and they all build on each other, is a lack of clarity. And there's a local entrepreneur named Keith Cunningham. If you've never had him on your show, you should, because he is absolutely amazing. He's written one of my favorite books, The Road Less Stupid, but he asks great questions.
I love that title.
Yeah, and he's funny. And anyway, so he says generality kills clarity. And so what we have to do is be very specific. So when you say, I would like to do X, let's really define what the finish line looks like and why it's important. So clarity often gives us clues into what we need to do to achieve where we need to go. Generalities don't do it. So like people will say, hey, I want to look great for a swimsuit season. Okay, that's actually probably a grab bag of dieting and physical fitness goals and shopping for an appropriate bathing suit for your body type. Like I could break that down into you need to shop differently, you need to prepare your food differently, you need to eat differently, you need to sleep differently, you need to drink more water, and you need to exercise. And you can't do all those things at once. You would have to break it down, right? You would have to say, well, of all of those things, what would be my first priority if I wanted to? So you want to get really clear about what it is you're trying to achieve, because that helps you avoid this overload. And where people start off with a New Year's resolution that's actually fabulously unrealistic if you broke it down into goals.
Yeah.
Number two is they're actually really clear about what it is they want, but they don't have any sense of focus in their approach to get it. Now we're getting right into the one thing. I know what the thing is, my goal. I'm going to use the tools in the one thing. Now, what's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier and necessary? I need to look at all the activities that I could do and ask, what is the real driver that I need to be focused on that will get me what I want? Does that make sense?
It does.
Cool.
Yes.
So the first one's a lack of clarity. The second one is a lack of focus in their approach if they were clear. So if they were clear and they were focused, I think then the next trap is they don't actually have any free time to execute. They've said yes to so many other things, they can't say yes to this new thing. And I see this a lot with employees. Like we have a new initiative. We're going to launch X, Y, Z, right? And I say,
Yep.
who wants to be on that team? And you see the eager ones raise their hand. And I sometimes see it's the same people that always raise their hand. And I might just pull them aside and say, Jacob, I love that you want to do this. When are you going to do it? And then you see the panic, right? They've committed to something without actually having any bandwidth to do it. And I got to tell you, we do it to ourselves all the time.
I was going to say in our personal lives, I know lots of people who commit to things, play dates and dinners and stuff like that. And then the day comes where, those things actually need to happen. And it just end up bailing on everybody. Oh. Sorry, I couldn't. And it happens all the time. And in my mind, I'm like, why are you committing to things? If you just think about it before you commit to it, it'll make everybody's life so much easier. So
we could teach a whole class on that, I'm sure, right? There's so many techniques to buy yourself time, to use a schedule, to use other tools to make sure if I'm going to make a commitment, that's one of the number one reasons I say no. Like you want me to co-author a book with you. And I'd be like, you know what? I would love to do that. I think it's a great idea. But I already have existing commitments that I've made commitments on and have made commitments with other people on. And if I were to take this on too, I would be doing someone an injustice, right? They would be getting half of my focus when they should be getting all of my focus. Or my family could be the one that suffers. I've overcommitted myself professionally, and now instead of watching whatever the latest show is, my wife and I are actually between shows, so I don't have one to bring up to right now. But like The Office or whatever with my wife, after our kids go to bed, I'm working on my laptop at 9 o'clock, right? So they're in order. You want clarity. If you have clarity, you need to be focused in your approach. Like, what do I need to do? And then you need to look up and say, do I have time on my calendar? So much of our process is, what are my goals and what does my time look like? And if I block the time to do the things I need to do, I usually feel like I'm on track. You know what? I said I was going to write 1 chapter this week. I'm going to look at my calendar and go, how many hours do I have blocked to do that activity? And at this point in my career, I kind of know how many hours it might take. And I'm going, you know what? I think I can get that done. If I don't, I'm going to start canceling on people to get that time I need for my number one. And so you get to the last one. You have your clarity. I'm trying to build the thing. You're clear about what it is you want. You're clear about what you have to do to get it. You've got time on your calendar, but then you leave that time unprotected is the last one. And this is where we don't have a process for saying no. We don't have a process for guiding people around our principles. And the operating hypothesis we used for the one thing that we've been living is you do your one thing in the morning. Those hours where we tend to have the most willpower. It's easier to say yes because we have energy. There's fewer distractions earlier in the morning than there are late in the day. And it's also great, like at noon, if you did your number one thing, you're like, hooray, I'm getting a cheeseburger to celebrate, right? It's not hanging over your head. You're not going home knowing that your number one priority is still undone. So you knock it out early. And then a lot of your unstructured time is in the afternoon. And so a lot of that is just about protecting it with scripts.